So I want to start off with San Diego State. Before I get to some of the hirings that San Diego State has made, San Diego State is going to be paying Brady Hoke $3.5 million after negotiating a severance deal. Brady Hoke, like the news came out, right, that he retired. That was what was put out there. Brady Hoke retiring. So it seemed like, oh, San Diego State, maybe they're not going to have to pay Brady Hoke the $5 million buyout. We knew that they weren't going to have to because the wording there is he retired. But it was retire or you're being fired. And I think San Diego State was like, come on, Brady. Or Brady was to San Diego State, I'll give you, hey, let's make a compromise here. You're going to have to give me money because you are firing me. Like, what? Brady Hoke wants to retire? He's been working in football his whole life. He wants to just retire. He wants to end being 4-8. I don't think a competitor would want to do that. But he's like, all right, middle ground, give me $3.5 million and I will retire. I think he also has to advise San Diego State whenever requested. He can go work somewhere else, but I think but then San Diego State wouldn't have to pay him $3.5 million. They'd have to pay whatever, like you subtract whatever salary he is making from San Diego State's $3.5 million that they owe. So they're giving him $1.3 million less than what was initially dictated by the terms of his contract, right? So they're not going to have to give him the full buyout, which is good for San Diego State. And the money that they saved was almost all of Sean Lewis's, I think, salary for his first year as the head coach of San Diego State. So there's that. And Sean Lewis is already making hirings, coach hirings. He's brought some Kent State coaches with him, some Kent State colleagues, connections there. Matt Johnson he has brought in, Bill O'Boyle. Ryan Lindley, I believe, is staying in a different capacity. Zac Barton, Demetrius Sumler. I believe Sumler is staying. I think he was already with San Diego State. But here is from Kirk Kenney. This was yesterday. According to sources, Lewis has hired 3 coaches who are members of his Kent State staff. Offensive line coach Bill O'Boyle, who was with Colorado, I believe. Quarterbacks coach Matt Johnson and special teams coordinator Zac Barton. O'Boyle, yes, followed Lewis from Kent State to Colorado for the 2023 season. Will also hold the title of running game coordinator. Barton will be San Diego State's associate head coach. So there are some moves there. And then the biggest move that he has made so far in terms of coaching is bringing in Darian Hagan as the running backs coach. He was the running back coach with Colorado from 2006 to 2010, and then again 2016 to 2022. He was in a different spot with Colorado under Deion Sanders. He was not on the coaching, like on the field with Deion Sanders, I don't believe, but he was still with Colorado. But Sean Lewis is now taking him with San Diego State, and he is going to be a coach on the field as running backs coach. Darian Hagan, he's 53, quarterback Colorado to the 1990 national championship, then had a 5-year professional career, joined Colorado's coaching staff, spent the past 2 decades with the Buffaloes. 2 stints, Deion Sanders took over. Hagan was moved to an off-field ambassador's role focused on community engagement because he's a big name in Colorado. That's not what this guy wanted to do, I assume. Sure. Does he like connecting with the community and all that? I'm sure he did, but he wants to be a coach. And he actually thought about, I was reading in this article here, he thought about being a running back, but then the Colorado quarterback ended up passing away. He ended up having cancer, 6 months to live, passed away. And the coach there told Hagan to go be the quarterback again. And they ended up going all the way to the championship game. So it was a good story there. Obviously, you don't want the death, but got him to the championship game, 1990 with the championship. And so he's obviously been a big favorite there at Colorado. Long coaching long coaching tenures there with Colorado, separated from each other there, a couple coaching stints, and now he gets to come to San Diego State. He knows what he's talking about, and as a player, played with Colorado all-time leading rusher Eric Bieniemy, who obviously, if you're an NFL fan, you know who that is. Coached Philip Lindsay and Rodney Stewart, the program's second and third leading rushers during his time in Boulder. So I'm not going to act like I know a ton about these guys that are being added to Sean Lewis's coaching staff, but familiarity is something that I'm seeing as a common theme here. And the guys that are important to San Diego State are staying, or they're at least being reassigned to a different role at San Diego State. They're not just being fired. So we'll see. And then obviously the quarterback is a big thing here with San Diego State. The big connection that was being made, obviously, right when Sean Lewis was hired by San Diego State, was the quarterback that decommitted from Colorado, who was this hyped quarterback, class of 2024 quarterback Danny O'Neal, committed to Colorado, decommitted shortly before Sean Lewis. The news came out that he had been hired as the San Diego State head coach, and he is going to be making an official visit to San Diego State this weekend. Sean Lewis already, I believe, has offered Danny O'Neal a scholarship. That happened like the day maybe day after he was hired as the San Diego State head coach. I think the same day that he had that press conference. So these things move quick. The transfer portal opened on Monday, so we'll see what happens there. Sean Lewis has been described. I forget who um, said this, but like he can recruit anyone. He can recruit you, your mom, your brother. Someone said something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. Very good recruiter. And so it seems like they're hitting the ground running here. And we'll see if Danny O'Neal ends up being the quarterback of San Diego State. Maybe he isn't the quarterback as a freshman. Maybe he's the quarterback after a year or two to develop more under Sean Lewis if he ends up coming to San Diego State. But yeah, some interesting things. And there's already more excitement around the program. And that's what San Diego State, part of why they made this hire. You needed more excitement, and hopefully that will lead to some results. This next season, San Diego State also has reduced their season ticket prices by 20%. They're trying to get more fans to cover that east side of the stadium. That's like the television side, because the cameras are on the west side. You see the stands, and it looked pretty darn empty this year for a 4-8 team. Obviously, I mean it should be. I mean, with the ticket prices and the team's play, it should have been. I don't blame Aztecs fans for not wanting to pack the place for a bad team. So hopefully, with the prices going down a little bit for season ticket holders, there will be a season ticket increase, and there'll be more interest. But I think some Aztecs fans are in still wait and see mode. Like they're not just going to go spend hundreds of dollars on tickets before they know who the quarterback's going to be, what this team's really going to be.